Hey Void, how you doing? So, missed recording yesterday because I'm lazy. But Ebirah back at it again, still trying to churn through my backlog and continuing on with my Godzilla bash. And here we are with Ebirah Horror of the Deep. I first saw this as Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster when I was much younger, but it's largely the same film even with the dubbing. But saw it subtitled for the first time a couple of years ago now. This one actually did, the DVD copy I had actually was dual language. For some reason, a lot of the Heisei films I have, for some reason, only had one language track. I don't know why. But this, a lot of the Showa ones did thankfully have both. And now that I've upgraded to that big Godzilla Blu-ray collection, again, beautiful subtitles. And it really helps because the dubbing is something else on these. Alright, so Ebirah Horror of the Deep. This one is a 1966 and involves Godzilla going out for crab legs. Pretty much. Or waking up and having a hankering for some seafood. Okay, this originally started off as a follow-up, actually, as a King Kong script, which they midway abandoned. I've heard it both ways, that they just decided to use Godzilla because he was more popular, but I also heard it that it was taking too long and they ended up losing the rights to Kong. So I'm not sure which it actually ended up being. Okay, plot on this. Well, there's shipwrecks at sea, like there are in most Godzilla films, but this time one young man is sure that his brother is alive somewhere and is determined to get a boat to go out looking for him, and is doing everything he can do. Well, he eventually stows away on a criminal's boat. Him and some other guys that he was hanging around with, and the young man pretty much hijacks them out to sea, despite the criminal just wanting to lay low, and off they go on a zany whirlwind adventure to find his brother. What they find is a giant crab claw coming up out of the ocean, shipwrecking them. As well, they find the reason his brother got shipwrecked: giant crab monster. So, Ebirah. While on the island, they come across a terrorist organization who are enslaving the natives of a nearby island. Happens to be Infant Island, home of Mothra, and is working their people to create, I think it was an explosive, can't quite recall exactly what they were making, but it's that as well as this liquid that wards off Ebirah. So essentially they use the giant crab monster as their guardian, because their ships have this liquid that they dump into the water, which Ebirah doesn't like, scares them away. They try to, are able to trying to call exactly how they get Infant Island from where they are. I think one of them is able to slip off and go for help there, but they say that Mothra will come, but has to be ready, so they end up going back to this island to help free the natives. Meanwhile, though, they find Godzilla. Just happens to be on the island, very conveniently. Asleep. And now this is where you can see some of the King Kong bleeds in, because they decide to wake Godzilla up using a lightning rod, since Toho Kong is battery operated, I guess, and needs that electrical charge. Well, they're using this now on Godzilla, which wakes up Godzilla, and he seems almost more human-friendly, even compared to some of the other ones in this one. Again, because this was a King Kong script. They really just didn't change in the actions. Well, when Godzilla wakes up, they try to first the people have convinced the natives that were enslaved to switch the compound to ruin it so that Ebirah will attack their ships. And then finally they wake up Godzilla to fight Ebirah itself. So, to buy some time until Mothra can come save them. The fight that breaks out between them is now pretty iconic. mostly because it's used its entirety in All Monsters Attack also. But it is a very entertaining fight. But overall, this movie, it's kind of all over the place in terms of tone as well as just. It wants to be more interesting than it actually is. It's fine, but for me, this is definitely where the Godzilla series starts to fall away a little bit. Yeah, as both Godzilla and Mothra just seem shoehorned into the movie. Like, it would, even if it was King Kong, it really wouldn't make sense for King Kong to be on this random island in the middle of the Pacific. So, whatever monster that they were putting there was going to feel weird. And then just, this island just happens to be close to Infant Island. Mothra just has a very small role at the end. Well, it's a stock movie. There's less in terms of the Mothra songs, which is always a shame. It's a little bit there, but overall, 4 MacGuffins for Ebirah. Monster design, cool, and the fight between Godzilla and Ebirah is fine. The plot line is just so all over the place. There's so many elements that are just conflicting that it's fun. It's more funny than, and not in a comedic way. Just try to stare at this while this thing sorts itself out. It's worth watching, but it's definitely, here we're starting to get into some of the lesser films. Alright, that's all on this one. I'm still hoping to get through this backlog, but away we go. Catch you later, Void.